Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that really gets into the heart of the sources you give us, pulling out the key insights.
That's right.
And today, wow, we're diving into a world that's, well, it's profoundly unique, stubbornly against modernity, you could say.
Definitely.
Every interaction feels like this epic, sometimes hilarious battle, wits, will, and this very strange internal valve.
Indeed. We're talking about the meticulously detailed universe of Ignatius J. Reilly. He's the unforgettable protagonist from John Kennedy Toole's A Confederacy of Dunces.
Right, the Pulitzer winner.
Exactly. And the excerpts we have today, they paint such a vivid picture of this singular character.
So our mission today is really to explore Ignatius's world, this eccentric place he lives in. We want to unpack his philosophy, which is distinctive, often contradictory,
Very much so.
and highlight those unforgettable run-ins he has with this amazing cast of characters in 1960s New Orleans.
And through all that, we're hoping to get at some insights about, individuality, maybe societal critique.
And that ever-spinning wheel of, what does he call it, Fortuna?
Fortuna, yeah. The Roman goddess of fate, luck, always turning that wheel, often, not in the way you'd hope.
Always downwards for Ignatius, it seems.
Hey.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Meeting the man himself, Ignatius J. Reilly. I mean, physically, he's just undeniable, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. He's not just walking down the street. He's described almost like a force of nature. That hunting cap.
Yeah, the green hunting cap, like a green radius in the crowd.
Right. And the tweed trousers billowing around his gargantuan rump. His huge paws, always doing something.
Patting his mother's hair, clutching a hot dog, pounding a mattress.
Exactly. It's an immediate visual. What does that tell you right off the bat?
Well, it feels like his physical presence is almost deliberate, like a statement.
I think that's right. Toole used it immediately to set him apart. He's an outsider. His very form seems to defy convention. He's literally, too big for the world around him.
But it goes deeper than just the physical, right? His peculiarities.
Oh, much deeper. He spends his time, as he proudly puts it, writing a lengthy indictment against our century.
In his Journal of a Working Boy? That sounds grand.
It is. It's his magnum opus. A huge philosophical rant against everything modern he finds offensive, vulgar. It's his weapon, really.
An intellectual weapon. And then there's the health thing, the valve.
Ah, yes, the valve.
He talks about it closing on the streetcar or getting the better of him, usually when he's stressed or disgusted. What is that?
Well, it's not just a physical thing, is it? It seems like this brilliant symbol Toole uses.
Like a pressure release.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His body's visceral rejection of a world that to him feels like a physical assault on his sensibilities. It's his psychological distress made physical.
Makes his internal state very external, very visible, in a darkly funny way.
Right. And then at home, his contributions are minimal.
I dust a bit.
I make an occasional cheese dip, which his mother calls delicious, of course.
Of course. It's such a contrast, almost childlike compared to his huge intellectual ambitions. And the Dr. Nut. Buying it by the case.
Drinking 2, 3 at one time. It's another one of those almost infantile indulgences for this guy who sees himself as a profound philosopher king.
Born into the wrong era, surrounded by, barbarians.
That's his core identity, isn't it?
Yeah.
He calls himself an anachronism, forced to function in a century which I loathe. So he just denies mainstream values wholesale.
Believing society's conspiring against him, spinning Fortuna's wheel down.
Which sets up that first big public scene perfectly.
Yeah.
Outside D.H. Holmes' department store.
Oh, yeah. The protest. I shall contact the mayor.
Demanding witnesses to this outrage. All because a policeman, Mancuso, just tried to ask him about his appearance.
And his mother, Mrs. Reilly, she's right there, a force herself.
Despite her arthritis in my elbow.
Fiercely defending her 30-year-old son. Take your hands off my boy. He's a good boy. He's waiting for his mama.
It's incredibly loyal, but also completely enabling. A dynamic you see again and again.
Yeah. And the scene just escalates, doesn't it? A crowd forms.
And quickly turns into a mob, defending Ignatius, accusing the cop of being a communist.
Whoa.
It shows how easily things can flare up, if someone like Ignatius can become this weird focal point for other people's frustrations.
And Ignatius just laps it up, declaring it clearly a case for the Civil Liberties Union.
And mentioning Myrna Minkoff, my lost love, always framing his personal issues as these huge, monumental injustices.
So later that night, they need to escape, basically. Mrs. Reilly pulls him into the Night of Joy bar. Not exactly Ignatius's kind of place.
Oh, definitely not. His reaction isn't immediate. My God, Mother, it smells awful. My stomach is beginning to churn.
And the coffee order. Chicory coffee with boiled milk.
Dismissing instant coffee is an abomination. It's another classic clash. His high-minded sensibilities versus the gritty reality.
Is his sensitivity real, though, or is it all performance?
That's the question, isn't it? I mean, his sensory overload feels like part of his worldview. The bar, like most of modern life, is just vulgar to him.
And the story about the stolen lumber jacket.
Right. From the faculty men's bathroom. Suspecting the security guard and the chairman were the same person, it leans towards performance, doesn't it?
He's always the victim of some grand conspiracy.
A martyr to his own intellect. Meanwhile, Mrs. Reilly is being pragmatic. She needs money.
So she sells her First Communion hat, which Ignatius calls a link with the past.
Sells it for $15 to a guy dealing in used clothes. Ignatius is furious, calls it sacrilegious.
The contrast is so sharp, him wrapped up in these abstract dramas, her dealing with, actual survival.
Exactly. And this scene also gives us our first glimpse of Lana Lee, the Nazi owner.
And Darlene, the stripper.
Right. They aren't just background. They sort of foreshadow the bizarre ways Ignatius is going to collide with New Orleans' underbelly. Challenges his whole worldview.
Okay, so the D.H. Holmes thing means legal trouble, mom's broke, Ignatius has to get a job.
He's forced into the workforce, kicking and screaming, basically.
Mrs. Reilly tries everything. The insurance interview was a disaster, right?
Total disaster. And places like Goodwill, unsuitable. His resistance to conventional work is huge.
What does that say about his indictment against our century?
It's central to it. Work, for Ignatius, isn't just work. It's like giving in, capitulating to the very capitalist forces he despises.
He thinks he's above it all. Money's vulgar.
Precisely. And Levy Pants itself. It's described as this macabre unit, a barn-like prototype of an airplane hangar, emitting sickly smoke.
It's the physical horror of industry for him.
Exactly. Dehumanizing efficiency.
Yeah.
And the office staff. Mr. Gonzalez, the Cretan manager.
Miss Trixie, the elderly, confused Earth mother of the world of commerce.
And Gloria, the stenographer. All fresh targets for his unique brand of scorn.
And he doesn't just do the job, he starts his own innovations.
Oh, absolutely. Gets Gloria fired, supposedly to save money.
Forges that insane letter to Abelman's dry goods.
Which causes huge problems later, and builds a cross in the office with God and commerce on it.
Is that pure delusion, or is there some kind of twisted self-awareness there? Is he manipulating things?
That's a really good question. I lean towards delusion, mostly. He seems to genuinely believe his actions are right, even heroic.
Forging a libelous letter was loyalty.
In his mind, yes. He's the self-appointed ethical guardian, driven by these intense and deeply felt convictions concerning social injustice.
Especially about the factory. Mechanized Negro slavery, he calls it.
Which, however problematic his framing, leads to the famous crusade for Moorish dignity.
Right. He feels this kinship with the workers, saying his own exile is voluntary, while they're similarly outside American society. It feels constructed, that empathy.
It absolutely is, filtered through his own massive ego. Remember him trying to silence the obscene jazz in the factory?
And the workers protesting because they actually liked it.
Right. Then his comical attempt to dance, falling over, which bizarrely creates a brief moment of camaraderie.
But the crusade itself, the big mobilization effort.
It completely fails. He finds out they make less than $30 a week, and they just abandon him. His grand ideas just shatter against harsh economic reality.
Shows the gap between his abstract activism and their actual lives.
Definitely. While all this is happening at Levy Pants, his mother is actually, making changes.
Yeah, she's often overlooked, but she's quietly forging her own path, showing real resilience.
Patrolman Mancuso even visits their place, that dark, coffee-smelling kitchen.
And Ignatius appears in that monstrous flannel nightshirt, just rude, dismissive about the money they owe.
Well, Mrs. Reilly is actually building a social life, bowling with Santa Battaglia and Angelo.
Mancuso's nephew, right.
Yeah, and she's being courted by Claude Robichaud,
whom Ignatius hates, calls him an aged fascist, a dangerous radical.
It's her own quiet revolution, finding some independence. And then, the irony. Mancuso actually succeeds at something.
Yeah. After all the mishaps, getting stuck in restrooms, wearing ridiculous costumes.
Jones, the porter from the Night of Joy, gives him a tip.
Leads to the raid. Lana Lee, Darlene, others arrested for soliciting pornography.
And suddenly Mancuso's a hero to his sergeant. It's pure fortuna. Sometimes the incompetence just stumbles into success, doesn't it?
So the wheel of fortuna keeps spinning, and those innovations at Levy Pants, they catch up with Ignatius.
Big time. Mr. Levy is facing a massive libel suit, $500,000, because of that letter Ignatius forged.
And he's desperately trying to find Ignatius?
But he gets Mrs. Reilly on the phone, slightly intoxicated, claiming Ignatius is in a mental hospital somewhere.
The audacity is just staggering. And when Levy finally confronts him,
Ignatius uses his journal as evidence of his loyalty, blames Mr. Gonzalez and Miss Trixie, claiming her senility is just a guise.
He weaponizes his own writing, his own delusion, to dodge blame. It's incredible.
But what's really interesting is Mr. Levy actually visits Miss Trixie in her junk-filled apartment.
And starts to understand things differently.
Yeah, he realizes his own wife's attempts to rejuvenate Miss Trixie actually fueled her resentment. He even thinks about setting up a foundation for her.
Wow. So Ignatius's chaos accidentally uncovers these hidden company dynamics.
Exactly. It's a strange ripple effect. His delusion leads to unexpected insight, maybe even a chance for some real change for Miss Trixie.
That's fascinating. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? And just when you think it can't get weirder, Ignatius is back selling hot dogs.
For Mr. Clyde again, but this time he's assigned to the French Quarter, the Sinkhole of Vice.
And that sign, 12 inches, 12 of paradise?
Which gets immediately defaced with genitals by George, the kid he recruits to watch his cart.
That sign. It's almost a perfect metaphor for Ignatius himself, isn't it? Grand ideas constantly undermined by messy reality.
Absolutely. And in the Quarter, he finds a new obsession. Harlot O'Hara, the stripper, Virginie Bell.
From the now-closed Night of Joy.
Right. He starts contemplating an affair, finding a new cause for his journal, shifting from intellectual critique to this romantic fantasy.
Still completely detached from reality, just a different flavor of delusion.
Pretty much. Then there's the cinema incident.
Oh, right, at the RKO Orpheum. Loudly outraged at a filthy movie, shouting, "Rape her!"
Gets into a fight with an usherette, then recruits George, the poor kid, to watch his wagon again.
Is he really a moral crusader, or just a provocateur who loves the drama?
Maybe a bit of both. The line's always blurry. He seems to believe in his crusades, but the way he expresses it is so theatrical, demanding attention.
Meanwhile, his mother's had enough, finally reached her limit.
Absolutely. His insolence, irresponsibility, insults, it leads to actual physical confrontations. She slaps him flatly in the face, starts beating Ignatius on the arms.
It's not just a fight, it's years of frustration boiling over.
And she makes a decision for herself, decides to marry Claude Robichaud.
For kindness, for security, saying, I got a right not to have an east to worry about where my next dollar's coming from.
It's her own act of liberation, completely different from Ignatius's stagnant philosophizing. A really powerful moment for her.
Then the final twist. She finds money in his wallet.
Uses it to pay his hospital bill and plans to have him committed. Declared temporary insane at charity.
But just as she's about to do it, Deus Ex Machina.
Literally. Myrna Minkoff shows up out of the blue, driven nearly 36 hours from New York.
Spurred by his wild peace party telegram, wants to save a mind rotting right before your eyes.
Ignatius. He sees this as Fortuna finally smiling on him. Fortuna had relented.
Packs his yo-yo and his tablets.
And just leaves with Myrna for New York, abandons his mother, New Orleans, everything, off to a new cycle.
Is it liberation? Or just relocating the chaos?
The novel suggests it's probably the latter, doesn't it? Myrna's like his intellectual twin, reflecting his own absurdity back at him.
So it's not an escape from himself, just an escape to a new stage for his indignation.
Seems likely. And Mrs. Reilly is left behind, about to marry Claude, musing about Ignatius.
That final line is chilling. Sometimes I think Ignatius wouldn't mind if they did throw me in jail. He's got a heart of ice, that boy.
Yeah, it really hits home the emotional cost of living with someone so utterly self-absorbed.
So we've journeyed through this incredibly vibrant, often chaotic 1960s New Orleans with Ignatius J. Reilly. We've seen his battles, his clashes, his constant struggle against a world he just rejects.
And the genius of Toole's novel, embodied in Ignatius, is how it makes you wonder, maybe the most sensible reaction to a world that often feels absurd is just more absurdity.
Right. It kind of forces you to ask, who are the real dunces here? Is our own attempt at being normal just another kind of delusion?
That's a provocative thought.
Yeah.
Ignatius wanted to write this huge indictment against our century, listing all its flaws.
So thinking about that perspective, for you, our listener, what parts of our modern world seem the most bewildering? What deserves a critique, maybe? Maybe a less theatrical one than Ignatius's?
And that final question, really. In a world that pushes conformity is refusing to compromise your unique worldview, even a flawed one like Ignatius's, a path to liberation.
Or does it just inevitably lead to more chaos? Self-inflicted chaos, leaving exasperated mothers and confused bystanders behind?
It's something Ignatius himself, for all his big talk, never really seems to resolve, does he? A question left hanging.